Welcome to the first video for our Honors Pre-Algebra Blended course. During this video, I will be highlighting a few things, including the materials that you have available to you on a daily basis, how to set up your interactive math notebook, and finally, the daily routine that will follow for the first few weeks of school. Let's get started by talking about some of the materials that you have available to you. For starters, you were given a math notebook, 3-ring binder that has materials in it. We're not going to dive into that quite yet, but we are going to focus on one of the items in your binder, which is your interactive math notebook. You can take out the sheet of paper in your binder in the front and cut that out, or just simply tape it on the front cover of your notebook. Okay? And then inside of your notebook, we'll talk about that in just a second with some of the other papers that you can glue in there. So we have the 3-ring binder. Inside of the binder, we have a notebook. You also have your iPad. Your iPad is how you will access our wiki and also how you will access the online textbook, which has videos and other resources. Another material that you will have available to you is this interactive study guide. That will be something we could talk about a little bit later. It's not quite part of our daily routine. So your materials are all laid out for you. Make sure to keep those organized on your desk when you're working. And when you're finished working, put them back in the bag provided for you so that you can keep track of everything. As I already mentioned, you can slide this little sheet of paper out of your 3-ring binder and cut it out and then paste it on the front cover. It doesn't matter which direction, but that will identify whose notebook it is. On the inside cover, many of you have already taped in the table of contents. If you didn't do that, simply take the table of contents sheet, either glue it or tape it in that very first page. I think most of you actually have 2 table of contents, so you can turn the page and tape the second page on the very back. Okay, we want to use every single side of every single piece of paper in our notebook, so make sure you use both sides. The next thing we'll set up is the Chapter 1 notes. Notice you have a packet of Lesson 1-1 in the upper right-hand corner, all the way to Lesson 1-7. We're not going to glue these in or tape these in all at the same time because we don't know how much space we're going to need for the homework problems. So right after the table of contents, and maybe you even did some writing with me or your EY coordinator last spring, and that's fine. Just take, after your table of contents, take your next available page in your notebook, and that's where we're going to glue in the Lesson 1-1 guided notes. So after I tape that in, I have this page to start on my homework. I'm not going to glue Lesson 2-2 right there because I want to make sure and have room for Lesson 1-1 homework. And I might even need this page and the following page. So what you can do is glue in Lesson 1-1 and then tuck the rest of the guided sheets in the back of your notebook, and then we can glue those in when we're ready for them. The next thing I'll highlight is this little bookmark that outlines our daily routine. The daily routine is going to be very important as we start this blended course. It tells you exactly what to do in the right order, and if you get these routines down, these steps, it's going to really set you up to be successful in this course and in future math courses because it outlines what you should write down when you're taking notes out of a math textbook. Notice in the daily routine that the first item is to review the essential question for the chapter. The essential question is typed for you, and just review that at the start of every day because that is the main focus of the chapter. How can you use numbers and symbols to represent mathematical ideas? Number 2 on your daily routine is to write down what you'll learn in the lesson. What you'll learn is found at the beginning of every lesson in your textbook. There are usually 2 items, and you can write those down on your note sheet. What I'd like for you to do is take those what you'll learn statements and turn them into I can statements. For example, Lesson 1-1 might sound something like this. I can use the 4-step plan to solve problems, and I can solve multi-step problems. Again, that's for the what you'll learn items, which can be found in your textbook at the beginning of every lesson, or if you're using the online textbook, you can also find the what you'll learn items there. The third thing on your daily routine is to write down any definitions for vocabulary words. Notice on lesson 1.1 there is one vocabulary word, which is 4-step plan. In other lessons there might be 3, 4, or 5 vocabulary words, but your next item is to find the definition for those words and write it down on your note sheet. You can find that in your textbook, or if you're using your online textbook, you can find it there as well. Step number 4 is to watch the video tutors and write down any examples you want to remember. There's a space on your note sheet to write down any notes, and there might be 2 videos, 4 videos, it just kind of depends on the lesson. Make sure to watch all of those videos and just jot down any notes that you'd like to remember on this sheet. Sometimes I will also do problems in my videos, and I would like you to write those down as well. You can put those on this note sheet, or you might carry over to the next page on your notebook and write those down. Number 5 says to watch the video from Mrs. Spady. Most days I will have a video for you to watch, and I'll just highlight a couple problems from the homework or maybe a couple of challenge problems for that section. Make sure to watch that video as well. Number 6 is to start on your homework. Notice that there are 15 on-level problems, 5 beyond level problems, and any must-do problems that are required for each lesson. You can find those on your Chapter 1 outline. You can always do more problems. These first few lessons, you're going to kind of get in the routine and see how much time you'll have for these things. So try to get at least the 15 and 5 done. And if you have time for more, push yourself and try a few more. That's going to always help you be a better problem solver. Number 7, correct the homework. The homework answers are found on the wiki, and you can use a different color pen to put a check mark by the ones you miss and maybe a star by the ones you get right. And then make sure to record your score at the top of the page. You're not being graded on this, but I do want to make sure that you are keeping track of the problems that you're missing, and then we can use that to go over problems when I meet with you face to face. Number 8 is to take the self-check quiz, and that is found on your online textbook. I'll be making another video on some of the resources and how to access those later, but you're going to take the self-check quiz and then record your score on the note sheet at the bottom, and then you're also going to email me your score. If you finish with all of those items in one math day lesson, you can move on to the next lesson, which is great. You can also move on to maybe some of the activities found in your notebook. I know that was a lot of information, and I probably could make an hour-long video, but I know that that would make things very hard to understand. Today, I really just want to make sure that you are aware of all the materials you have, your notebook, your interactive math notebook, your textbook, your iPad, and some note sheets that I'll be helping you to keep organized these first few chapters, and your interactive study guide, which we'll get to in maybe a couple of weeks. Please, please, please take this daily routine and really start to make it a habit of reviewing that essential question, writing down what you'll learn, writing down the vocabulary words, watching the videos, and taking notes. It really will set you up to be a successful learner in this blended course. I'm really looking forward to meeting with you face to face and working to be better problem solvers with you. I always learn a lot from my students, so I'm excited about that. Please make sure to email me anytime you have questions. The only way we'll be successful in this course is to make sure that we're all communicating with each other. You and I communicating, but also your parents and your classroom teachers. So please, if there's anything that you want to ask it, and we will make sure that we get you off on the right foot for this class. Talk to you soon.